Outsourcing your IT. For some, it may conjure up images of people a million miles away who you only talk to when something goes horribly wrong. But today, outsourcing to an external IT partner across the globe or right down the road is a very viable option for businesses as they grow. And every business should consider whether or not it's the right option for them. In this video, we'll go over everything you need to know about outsourcing your IT, from why businesses do it, to how much it costs, and how you can go about finding the perfect partner. Let's start by asking the simple question. What is outsourcing? It simply means hiring an external company or third-party provider to handle something that could be done in-house. You're probably already outsourcing some services like office cleaning or legal work. In IT, for mid-sized businesses, it typically means paying a managed service provider, or MSP, to provide help desk support and to get the tech you need. It comes in three flavors. The first option is offshoring, which is partnering with a provider that's based in a distant country, often halfway around the world. The second option is onshore outsourcing, which means hiring a provider within your own country or region. And finally, the third type of outsourcing is called Nearshore outsourcing, which splits the difference between the other two by working with someone in a neighboring or nearby country. For a US-based business, that typically means somebody in Latin America. Now, on the flip side, every business has the option of insourcing their IT, which is exactly what it sounds like. You build out your own internal IT team to handle IT functions. That means you hire, you train, and you manage it, all on your own. Most decisions to outsource or insource your IT come down to the cost. And this is also where things can get complicated, because there's no easy answer without really getting into the details. With insourcing, the obvious expense is salaries, but that's just the starting point. Once you factor in benefits, payroll taxes, equipment, software licenses, onboarding, and ongoing training, the true cost of building an internal team adds up quickly. Outsourcing shifts that cost structure significantly because instead of carrying those overhead expenses, you're typically paying a monthly fee or a project-based rate. And the provider absorbs the burden of staffing, training, and tooling on their end. That said, outsourcing isn't automatically cheaper. The scope of what you need, the level of expertise required, and the model you choose, offshore, nearshore, or onshore, all influence what you'll actually pay. Aside from price, each option has its own pros and cons related to how it operates alongside your business. Generally speaking, the biggest benefits of outsourcing include cost and time savings. When you outsource your IT, you remove most of the hassle associated with managing your internal IT team. You don't have to worry about hiring, training, or retaining talent. Similarly, you also remove the onus of updating your technology or having to tackle the costs associated with fixing broken equipment. You get to have it all taken off your plate and handled so you can focus on what actually grows your business. Outsourcing makes it much easier to scale your business as you grow, or shift goals and strategies. You can upgrade your service or expand your contract as your company grows without wasting time on building upgraded systems or hiring and training new employees. Outsourcing your IT also gives you easier access to the most up-to-date technology and a larger team of experts with the expertise in many of the critical fields of IT, including cybersecurity. Putting together a team as comprehensive as you'll find at an MSP is wildly time-consuming and expensive. On the flip side, there are cons to outsourcing, like slower response times. You'll never get faster response times than from the guy sitting down the hall. Even with a local MSP, your response times could vary depending on call volume or any other number of factors. There's always some risk associated with trusting a third party to handle your sensitive, business-critical systems and data. This can mostly be alleviated by choosing the right partner, but any new vendor always adds risk. To effectively discuss all the pros and cons of outsourcing your IT, we'll also break it back up into the three kinds of outsourcing: Offshoring is the most cost-effective option on paper thanks to significantly lower labor costs, but it can be more of a hassle than a help when it comes to urgency specifically. If something breaks at 9 a.m. your time and your provider is 10 hours ahead and already wrapping up their day, getting fast support becomes a real challenge. Onshoring is usually the most expensive of the three options, but it comes with the fewest barriers. Not only are there no language gaps and no time zone juggling, but you can also get in-person service when it matters most. This can make a huge difference for business-critical hardware. For nearshore outsourcing, the cost savings aren't quite as dramatic as offshoring, but you get something valuable in return: overlapping time zones and generally smoother communication. However, you lose the benefits of a local MSP like in-person service or meetings. The pros and cons of insourcing are pretty much just flipped. You get more control over your technology because the people running it are down the hall. Your IT team will have a deeper institutional knowledge of how your business operates, and you'll get faster response to internal issues, plus better alignment with your culture and tighter security control. But it's expensive to scale quickly, harder to access niche expertise, and recruiting and retaining good IT talent is competitive. Plus, IT professionals constantly require new certifications to stay on the forefront, which means consistent training. So now you're wondering, how can you possibly decide which is the best option? We've walked through what they are, how much they cost, and the pros and cons. But what exactly should you be considering when making the big decision? Here are three of the biggest factors that determine whether outsourcing or insourcing your IT is the right decision for your business. First, what do you need to meet your goals? Be very honest and clear with yourself about what exactly you need from your IT to hit your upcoming goals. It goes beyond surface level stuff like needing better tech or faster support. Do you need a certain level of data security? Do you need to remain compliant with any regulations? Does your entire business rely on your e-commerce platform staying up? You can get a good start on this by simply asking, what would actually break if IT failed you? Second, what's your budget? Like we mentioned earlier, budget is oftentimes the hard stop. How much are you willing to spend to get the IT help you need, and how can you get the most out of that budget? And third, how much control do you need? If tight control over your systems, your data, and your team's priorities is important to how you operate, that's a real trade-off worth weighing carefully before you sign a contract. The hybrid model is a blend of having internal IT staff and outsourced support working together. Rather than treating insourcing and outsourcing as an either-or decision, many businesses take the approach of having certain functions stay in-house while outsourcing others. Typically, the work that stays internal is anything strategic, sensitive, or deeply tied to how the business operates day to day. The work that gets outsourced, on the other hand, tends to be specialized, high volume, or outside the core skill set of the internal team. The hybrid model gives you the control and institutional knowledge of an internal team without the overhead of trying to staff every IT function yourself. At the end of the day, there's no universal right answer when it comes to insourcing versus outsourcing your IT. The best choice is the one that fits where your business is right now, where it's headed, and what your budget is. Whether that means building an internal IT team, partnering with a provider, or even landing somewhere in the middle. Choosing between insourcing and outsourcing your IT services is a major decision that can have effects across your entire business. Learn more about managed IT and get your custom IT assessment at impactmybiz.com.